Multiple bullets flying through a North Side neighborhood, hitting homes, hitting cars, and eventually killing 29-year-old Tyrese Littlejohn. Really terrifying people who live on the street.
And this after yet another violent weekend in Jacksonville. That was just one of 6 shootings over the last couple of days. 4 people were killed, 2 injured by gunfire. The violence seems to be increasing lately. We've seen a number of shooting deaths across Jacksonville this month of June.
First Coast News reporter Crystal Bailey is live tonight from that neighborhood where bullet holes went through mattresses, and she joins us now. Crystal?
That's right. This is just some of the damage left behind in the drive-by shooting. Windows shattered, doors dented, and behind this bush, bullet holes in the wall. Neighbors saying it sounded like a war zone. They're surprised no one else was injured in this drive-by attack. One elderly woman was sleeping when a bullet hit her mattress.
So literally my mother could have been killed in her own bed while she's sleeping.
Neighbors like Donna Harper are shaken up after a normal Saturday night turned deadly.
I'm scared because I don't feel safe.
They heard rapid fire gunshots come through the street.
I have 1, 2, 3 bullet holes in the walls.
Neighbors telling me they had to duck for cover.
As soon as I heard those first 3 shots, and like I told you earlier, I sleep right there at that corner, I hit the floor.
Evidence points to a targeted attack against 29-year-old Tyrese Littlejohn, who had 13 previous arrests in Duval County. Harper estimating between 15 and 20 shots fired.
I don't think you get that much gunfire out of a handgun.
And Littlejohn was taken to a hospital. He later died. A friend of his tells me he was a good person and provided for his family. I'm live, Crystal Bailey, First Coast News, on your side.